Hello, and welcome back to a Transformed Life podcast. I am Hope Rose, your host for this show. I am delighted that you are here and so grateful that you are joining me for another fantastic episode today. I know you will enjoy it. Before we jump into it, I want to invite you to support this show by leaving a 5-star review on whatever platforms you are watching this on. Yes, I am outside and there's flies and there's birds and there's all kinds of cool things happening. And we will see how it is to record out in nature. So let me know what you like if you are watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or another platform, amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I am grateful. Today, we're going to speak about something that looks very simple and small on the surface, and yet it is totally the opposite. It is absolutely not small in any capacity. And we are going to talk about language, the words we use. You probably have maybe heard, our words cast spells. And there is a particular word that people are using in this age of pronouns. We are going to kind of talk about that. And the in misaligned terminology is being used for a specific gender. And we're going to dive into that. And this episode is all about women, not girls. And when we call adult women girls, it is one of those normalized cultural habits that sounds super casual. Hey, girl, come over here, girl. And then it's an adult woman we're talking to. It sounds friendly. It sounds harmless. And yet, when you pay attention, it does something to not only your body, the collective, all of society's bodies as well. And it teaches these three things. It subtly trains women to stay smaller. It subtly reinforces a hierarchy, and it also keeps people and mainly women in a kind of permission posture. So many women are asking for permission, and it really stems from this language of calling adult women girls. And so I have many missions in life, and one of them is to pivot our terminology and the words we use to describe adult women as not girls and as women. And if you've ever felt like a tiny internal contraction when someone says, the girls are meeting, or I'm going out with the girls, or the girls in the office, or even there's book titles like, Hey Girl, Wash Your Face. There's another mastermind, Hey Girl, You Can. And it's all to adult women. What are we doing? And so we really need to come back into harmony with our nature and say, no, adult women are not girls. They are women. And we are definitely going there today because our words shape reality. And it is super important that we are very precise with our outward speech, because that also dictates our inner script, our inner speech. And, I have been in so many rooms, virtual, in person, where women are leading companies, they're raising families, they're rebuilding their lives after huge transitions, doing the bravest work imaginable, and yet someone still refers to them as girls. And it's not malicious, it's not with a sneer, it's usually with a smile. It's like they're just so unconscious of the language they are using. And this is what I want you to really hear. Impact matters more than intention. Because language isn't simply communication. Language is conditioning. It's repetition, it's culture, it's the water we swim in. And what we call women really matters, because it signals what we expect of women. And this is the core truth. Adult women are women, not girls. Adult women are women, not girls. And I'm not saying this to be, you know, dismissive. I'm saying this because girl is not just a cute word. Girl is a social signal. It carries an energy. And often that energy is less power, less authority, less weight, less credibility. And the other thing is girls is, like even men will say, oh, I just saw this actually on a Threads post the other day. This guy was bragging that he was intimate with 60 girls. No, he wasn't. He would be in prison right now if that was so. What he meant was women. And this is why language is so important, because when when he is having intimate relations with women, not adult girls, that is it's a mismatch. It's a misalignment. And so we really need to, as a society, begin calling adult women women and girls are for minors. We're going to get into this in a little bit. So, you know, when you hear the word girl using, used for a woman, track your posture, notice your voice, and even tune into your nervous system. What is happening with inside your body? Because your body is always telling the truth. And this is why it matters. The first one is identity and authority. Words create identity. When you say woman, you're speaking adulthood, agency, authority, decision making, a full human with full rights. When you say girl for an adult woman, you're speaking youth, dependency, not quite, not fully, ask for permission, you're beneath me. And you can feel it. It's it's an energy thing. It's not that girl is always insulting. It's that it often carries an unconscious message of junior. And listen, men are not casually called boys in the same way women are called girls. You will hear men in leadership. You will hear the guys. That's another thing of, just generic, like, oh, how you guys doing? It's referring to both genders, male and female. And it's like guys and women, men and women. And the boys in the office lands differently than, girls in the office. You don't really hear boys in the office that much. And when you hear it, it's usually a derogatory term. It's like, oh, the boys, meaning adult men. And it's in a derogatory sense. And yet somehow girls is still being used in terminology. Culture has so trained us that girl for adult woman is normal, and it's not. So I am inviting you to begin to question what you have normalized, and to realign it to the world you desire to see. The second thing is nervous system and embodiment. And this is where it becomes real. Language doesn't just change how we are perceived. Language changes how we perceive ourselves. If you want a quick experiment, say out loud right now, I am a girl. If you are an adult woman. And now say, if you are an adult woman, I am a woman. Notice in the body what is happening. Most women feel something shift. Their spine can change, their throat changes, their eyes change. Woman carries weight. It carries presence. It carries authority, autonomy. And if you've spent a lifetime being trained to be agreeable, polite, accommodating, easy, not too much, not overbearing, go with the flow, overgiving, overextending, very poor boundaries, then reclaiming the word woman can feel like reclaiming your whole nervous system. Because girl often pairs with, I don't want to be a burden. I shouldn't take up space. I should be liked. I should be chosen. I should be easier. And woman pairs with, I choose. I decide. I'm allowed to take up space. I don't need permission. I can be seen. My existence matters. And this is not somatics. This is embodiment. And when we really embody the word woman, that resonates with our nervous system. We're no longer living asking for permission. Playing small, especially if you are a female founder and you're still using the word girl in your vocabulary and in your business, those energetics are going to show up. Everything at the end of the day is energy. Number 3 is culture and power. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. This is not just about personal preference. It's about collective subconscious. We live in a culture where women historically have had fewer rights, fewer choices, and less authority, and language has always been part of that. When women are linguistically internalized, it is easier to dismiss them, talk over them, minimize them, undervalue them, control them. And I'm not saying that every person who says girls is trying to control women. There's so many women who are using the word girls, and I truly believe they aren't aware of this problem. I'm saying the pattern of the language has a history. And when we change language, we begin to change what is tolerated. We begin to change what is permitted. And this is the nuance. So let me add this. I'm not interested in creating a purity contest here. If you and your best friends call each other girls on a girls' trip and it feels playful, consensual, bonding, awesome. I'm not here to take your joy. What I am talking about and calling you to come forward in an invitation is the default language in public spaces, professional spaces, community spaces, where women are still fighting to be taken seriously because they're not taking themselves seriously to begin with. And I'm also talking about what happens when women call themselves girls without realizing how that shapes their internal standard. The point is never shame. The point is awareness. Because once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. You will see how often the word girl is being used to describe adult women, adult powerful women. And when you can unsee it, you get to choose. I give you permission to choose the aligned word, woman. And this is why it hits. If this topic has made you emotional, irritated, or activated, that makes complete sense. Because a lot of women have spent decades proving they're competent, proving they're worthy, capable, wise, powerful, valuable. And culture still uses a word that subtly implies, not quite, you haven't arrived yet. Because language in the collective subconscious is still being used to oppress women. And so if we want woman to woman here, if you're listening to this, and if you're a man, I invite you to the women in your life to begin calling them women, not girls. Culture, still uses a word that, implies all of this. And a part of you is like, yeah, I'm being tired. I'm tired of being treated like I'm young, naive, cute, innocent, not really all there, not quite put together, oppressive. And that part is right. And if a part of you is like, I want to be spoken to like I matter because you do, that part is absolutely correct. And if another part of you is like, I am done asking for permission to exist fully, that part is very, very right. And I want to give you a few practical tools to take with you, some shifts that you can implement into your life. If you are an adult woman listening to this, maybe you are a mother raising daughters, maybe you are a father raising daughters, and to really be very mindful of the language you use with with the mother of your children, whether you are together or separated, and even how you use word woman or girls in your professional life. Shift number 1, it's pretty easy. Change your default vocabulary. Begin saying woman instead of the girls on my team, the girls in the office, the girls in the group. Begin saying women, the women on my team, the women in the office, the women in the group. And yeah, it might feel a little weird at first. And every time you catch yourself, this is what you do. And if you use the word girl instead of woman, you say, wow, I'm so glad I noticed that. Celebrate the win in the awareness. And that alone will uplevel your life. Awareness is where we get like the positive dopamine hits. And it's because your, nervous system is really used to the old program, the conditioning the one way, and we're going to recondition it and realign it to the aligned way. And new language will absolutely feel like a new identity. And you will evolve, whether you're an adult woman or adult man listening to this, and allow it. Shift number 2 is remove self-minimizing language. And this pairs so well with this topic. Notice different things you might find yourself that you have said in the past. Now that you have awareness moving forward, you can realign it. Notice if you say, I'm just sorry to bother you. This might be dumb. I don't know if this makes sense. Women, if you use the word sorry a lot. And here are some replacements. Replace with, here's what I want. Here's what I desire. Here's what I'm seeking. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I'm deciding. I choose. Very authoritative in your feminine power. And this is woman level language, not permission language. Shift number 3 is practice the boundary line. If you want a simple, calm line, try this. Hey, small thing. Can we use woman instead of girls? It really matters to me. It's important to me. You don't have to explain. You don't have to justify. You don't have to debate. You're allowed to set a linguistic standard. This is my standard, and I am calling myself woman. I invite you to listen to this podcast to change the collective. And when every woman begins calling each other woman instead of girl, it's going to rise up more power in the feminine collective and not be so oppressed, not apologizing for your existence, not asking for permission to exist. You exist and your value is intrinsic. Number 4, and this one is so powerful, the identity anchor. You can do it in your car, you can do it in your bathroom mirror, wherever. Say, I am a woman. And then add this, I choose, I decide, I lead, I receive. I no longer ask for permission. And simply notice what happens in your body. Does your throat loosen a little bit? Does your belly soften a little bit? I actually just took a breath myself saying that. Where do you feel it in your body? Remember, always come back to the body. Everything is in the body, not in the mind. So separate the mind from the body. The mind tells stories, the body tells truth. And, if emotion comes up, fantastic. That means something true is being reclaimed and realigned. And, this topic is really about one thing: women not holding back, no longer asking for permission, claiming their place in life, in adulthood. I am a woman. I'm no longer a child. I'm not young, naive, innocent. I have authority over my life, and I'm going to claim that authority. And when we start beginning to call ourselves woman, I am woman, I am a woman. When every woman does this, the collective is going to rise to meet us. We are calling forth the masculine to meet us as equals. And I'm sure that's going to stir a lot of people in that. And we are no longer holding back. Women are no longer holding back. We no longer have to apologize for our existence. We no longer have to ask permission to exist, to have value in this world. Women are the only mammal that can bring forth life, that is sacred, that is divine. And we don't need permission. Because even if you can't be named correctly, even if you can't name yourself correctly, then it becomes easier to shrink in so many ways. It becomes easier to undercharge, over explain, soften your boundaries, tolerate the half relationship, tolerate abuse. Well, they're not abusive all the time. He does do some good things for me. Tolerate the unclear agreement, tolerate disrespect in subtle forms. And one of my goals is to help guide women to stop living in subtle diminishment. I desire women to live in full divine expression, full adulthood, full authority, and full embodiment. And your takeaway for today is this: your words are shaping your external and your internal life. They are shaping your business, your motherhood, your parenting. It's shaping everything in your entire life, and especially your internal world. The words you use for yourself, the words you accept from others that are simply no longer aligned, the words that I'm going to rephrase that. The words you used to accept from others. And when somebody calls you a girl, say, hey, I'm a woman. You can say it with kindness, you can say it with clarity, and you can say it with full power. Hey, I'm realigning this. I'm an adult. I am a woman. Thank you. The words you normalize in your spaces. And try this for the rest of your life. Try for today, try it for this week. Every time you catch girls, replace it with woman. See how many times you hear it out in the collective. See how many times you see it on social media. And watch what begins to shift in your internal world and your external world, in your posture, your voice, your confidence, your standard, your business, your parenthood, all of it, your motherhood, because you are not a girl. You are a woman. And women do not ask for permission to take up space. And the other thing, I really want to I touched on this earlier, when the collective, and especially when men use the word girls for adult women, it over sexualizes them. It makes them almost like, the younger child. And it is extremely damaging. I believe one way that we can lessen abuse in our lives is really becoming clear on using proper terms for women and girls. And perhaps, just maybe, we can lessen sexual abuse, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, all of the abuses by literally changing this one word, by calling women, adult women, women, and not girls. If you have a business that is using the word girl, please, I invite you to please reconsider that, seeing how that is adding to the collective oppression of women and how you can begin to using women in your work. It's super powerful. And there's books and podcasts and masterminds and groups and networking groups with the word girl in there, and it's adult women. Girls are not showing up to these masterminds. And if you need support in that, please let me know. And if this episode touched something with you, please share it with another woman. Share it with another woman who has been playing small without realizing it, who's been asking for permission. Share it with a man who is using the word woman a lot. And together, this is why they say together, when one person heals, we all heal. And when you become aware of the language that you have been using, you're going to notice the shift around you when you start, calling, oh, hey, we're going to go on a women's trip, not a girl's trip, a woman's trip. It's a woman's retreat. It's not, if it's a girl's retreat, then it's for minor girls. And if you desire support in rebuilding your life with real nervous system, human system safe community, especially if you're coming out of a relationship that took so much from you, I want to offer this to you. I offer super small, intimate groups where I guide, mentor, coach, lead other women to rebuild their self trust, their self identity, financial stability, regaining their confidence again. And part of the work is language. And if that interests you, please get in touch with me. You can also check out Heal Thy, where we guide you to build one healthy habit every 30 days in 30 days. And it is a fantastic resource to really put health and wellness and personal growth into your life in a tangible, very supportive way that is very beautiful. I will include the link in my show notes here. And I would love to, hear feedback from you. Where have you noticed that woman is not being used, how girls are being used in the collective, and how that is adding to the the oppression of women? And how can we liberate women? By switching up, by realigning our vocabulary and using proper words for it. I would, yeah, love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for joining me on this outdoor episode. I think maybe you saw a dog walk by a little bit ago. There's been some chickens and lots of flies. So we'll see if we do it outside again. I am so grateful you have been joining me for this episode, and I really desire that it equipped you to step into your full power as a woman, whether you are a female founder, whether you are a mother. Step into your authority, your sovereignty. Use language that is aligned. One of my favorite quotes is Carl Jung: "Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our life and we will call it fate." And when you begin to wake up what has just been subconsciously running that, internal operating system for decades, centuries, many generations, not just in your lifetime, and we begin to look at, from the words we use, the thoughts that we think, the choices, the beliefs that we have made, and realign them to where we want to go, that is why and how, when one person heals, we all heal. And so, with that, I'm going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And a reminder to leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are watching this on. That would really support me, and I am grateful for that. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful day.